From a basketball perspective, Bronny James has it rough. He is the firstborn son of arguably the greatest basketball player to ever live, whilst living in the social media era, causing people to have an extremely high expectation of someone who has never really shown that he is an elite player. The only basketball players who have had this level of pressure growing up were the kids of Michael Jordan, but Jordan's children did not have the pressure of social media following their every move on and off the court. Lebron has not particularly made it easier on Bronny, making claims that he could play for the Lakers today. Playing for USC, which is the same city in which his dad plays, adds to the pressure to perform at a level that he is not ready to play at yet. People have always expected him to be LeBron, but he is simply not that. At the same age, there is a clear difference in height, muscle composition, playing style, upbringing, and ranking. Bronny James is far from a terrible basketball player. Anyone that can hold their own at a major Division I program, they are a great basketball player in comparison to the population, and Bronny's NBA dreams are far from over. He has plenty of time to develop into an NBA caliber player. But let's take a look at what he is currently doing at USC. Bronny currently plays for the University of Southern California, a team that plays in the Pac-12 and are having a disappointing 10-17 season so far, which means they are trending towards not playing in March Madness, the prestigious college basketball tournament. This is Bronny's freshman year as the most anticipated freshman in the country due to his name, and he is currently averaging 5.7 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 2.6 assists in 20 minutes per game. To add to these subpar numbers, he is only shooting 36.5% from the field and 27.5% from three, after being marketed as a 3-and-D type player coming out of high school. This has been an abysmal season for both Bronny and the Trojans, and even though people were not expecting them to be a top 5 program in the nation or anything like that, but people expected more from a team who has 2 top 20 players in the country coming in, including the number 1 ranked high school player Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier, who was projected to be a top 5 pick in the 2024 NBA draft, has fallen in the mock drafts and is now expected to be a late lottery pick. Before the season, ESPN released a mock draft that had Bronny being a top 10 NBA pick, and now it looks unlikely that he will be leaving the program anytime soon. Bronny has shown shakiness in areas in the game that people thought that he would excel at, which is the reason that he is still on the bench this far into the season. As a ball handler, he often does not look confident when going against competent on-ball defenders and looks to be in a hurry to give up the ball when he is being pressed. This has limited his ability to display his basketball IQ and passing ability, which was passed down from his pops. Bronny has shown signs of being a great passer, but with limited time in dribble action plays means that the 2.6 assists and 1.2 turnover ratio does not look good. His shooting has been the biggest disappointment, because this would have been his biggest transferable skill to get him into a good position to make the NBA, but they just haven't been falling for Bronny. On the bright side, he is the athlete we thought he was, and he is an amazing on-ball defender and can move his feet on the perimeter. The reason why we may have to be lenient on Bronny for this season is because in July of 2023, Bronny suffered a cardiac arrest as a result of a congenital heart defect, which took him away from the game of basketball for almost 5 months. In those 5 months, the most important thing for Bronny and the James family was making sure that his health was intact and he would be able to function not only on the basketball court, but in his life, and thankfully, he made a full recovery. From a basketball perspective, taking 5 months away from the game, especially for the reason that Bronny did, would have an effect on anybody's game. After an injury to this severity, Bronny might just need more time to get his body right from a strength perspective, more time to map out how he can be the most effective to help the team win, and how he can dominate at the college level. If the version of Bronny that people expected to see is to happen at the college level, it is more likely to happen in his sophomore year when he has a full healthy offseason under his belt. But if we are being realistic, the version of Bronny that we are seeing now is the version of Bronny that we've seen all throughout his high school career. Bronny went to Sierra Canyon High School, which is a private school in Los Angeles that is known for having a primed basketball history. In the 4 years Bronny spent at the school, he was surrounded with some of the best players in the country, which allowed him to be passive in his scoring and focus more on being a facilitator, but also showing his athletic capability. He was never an aggressive scorer or looked to take cover games. This became more evident in his last year in high school, when he was the highest-ranked player on his team, being 20th best player in the country, according to ESPN, and when he was looked at for being the figurehead of his team, Scoring-wise, he never became that. In the season-ending loss in his senior year, for example, Sierra Canyon played against Notre Dame High School in the Division I regional final, and Bronny only scored 10 points in that game. He finished the season averaging 14.2 points and 2.4 assists. Most NBA lottery picks and NBA players in general dominated at the high school level, especially when it came to scoring, even if they had to adapt their game in the league. Patrick Beverley, for example, who only averaged 8.4 points for his career and is known as a defender, averaged 37 points in his senior year of high school. So the fact that Bronny averaged 14 points was never a promising sign. In terms of entering the draft, for any other player in the country that averages what Bronny averages, wouldn't even think about it. But when you are the son of LeBron James, the options are a little different. First of all, this is being seen as an extremely weak draft class to normal NBA standards, so players who would usually be further down the draft boards have a greater chance of making it in landing higher or getting drafted at all. So this would be the best year for Bronny to enter using that metric. The biggest factor Bronny has in his favor is that LeBron said that the last thing on his NBA checklist would be to play with his son. LeBron does not have that many years left in the NBA, but he will still bring so much to an organization, not only in production, but also financially, as LeBron is a walking business. Any team that is willing to draft Bronny knows that they have the best chance of also acquiring LeBron James, which is a big acquisition for any franchise to make. LeBron has made many references across the season that Bronny is better than a lot of NBA players that are in the league. This is obviously an attempt to boost his draft stock and direct the end of his career in hopefully playing with his son. There seems to have been a rise of NBA kids making it to the league in recent years, but it is rare to see a superstar father also have a superstar son, or vice versa. You look at the superstars' sons that played in the league, you have names like Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, and Sabonis, but although their fathers were solid players in the league, they were not superstars. On the other hand, you have superstar fathers such as Scottie Pippen, Kenyon Martin, and Gary Payton, who have sons in the league that are decent, but not superstars. Bronny may just fall in line in the group of superstar NBA sons that became average NBA players, and there is nothing wrong with that. Bronny's younger brother Bryce will also have to follow the footsteps of Bronny. It is already evident that people are putting their high expectations on him also, just because of his last name. Bryce is currently a 4-star recruit and a significantly lower ranking than Bronny, and will probably turn out to be a decent 3-year college player, but people will be expecting the second coming of LeBron. But maybe with Bronny's play in college, the expectations will decrease.
You get too down on yourself for no reason. You made 3 of the biggest plays in the game. You got the offensive rebound, right? Down 4, you got the offensive rebound, got the tip in, right? And then you had the outlet pass to Owen when he got the and one, and then you made the last swing to him for the game winner. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're missing shots or making shots, don't worry about it, kid. You played a hell of a game. You ain't got to worry about making shots or missing shots. All right? Good job.